If you're an ICE agent, you need to die. If you support ICE agents, you need to die. If you support the president, you need to die. 100%, and I mean this.
What?
I don't give a fuck who you are. My own brother supports ICE and the Trump administration. I don't fucking care for his life anymore.
Oh, boy.
Because he's a fucking country traitor. If you support ICE and you support this president, you're the traitor.
Really?
You are against American values.
Is she crying?
You stand for the original America, when we murdered all the natives, stole their fucking land, and then enslaved people.
Okay.
You want to travel back in your fucking time machine and brutalize people so you can call yourself king.
Me?
The America I grew up on and was promised is not that.
Oh.
You're not a fucking patriot. You're a pussy piece of shit.
Does she realize that black people support what Trump is doing? It's crazy. All right, let's watch this piece of insanity.
Senator Padilla, what's your response to Gavin Newsom now being under investigation by the Trump administration?
It's just the next person in the long line of the Trump administration weaponizing the Department of Justice to go after his perceived political enemies.
But this was done under the Biden administration.
Doing enough about this.
California news is not covering that. The investigation into Gavin Newsom started under Biden, but California media is not reporting that. Why do you think that is?
So it started under Biden.
Senator Padilla, what's your response?
Okay. That's new. Right, so let's watch this as well. When a black guy schools a leptadopus Karen about deportation, it looks like this.
He was, you know what, excuse me, hold on. You know what Obama was predominantly known for? His whole fucking shit? Excuse my language.
Oh, go for it, brother.
Deporter in chief. Damn it.
We just got screwed.
Hold on. And he was a Democrat.
Drop mine.
Okay.
He wasn't none of that, man. He wasn't none of that. And what he did for black people, he ain't. Hold on.
American politics.
I do. I'm from America.
What?
This is what I do.
What?
I wake up every morning at 6 o'clock and watch the news all day. I watch the conservative, I watch Democrat, I watch Republican, I watch all the news, right? And I'm telling you right now, right? Yes, I'm telling you, I watch all the news, everything. I don't discriminate. I don't discriminate against Fox or whatever.
But she does, because she essentially, first of all, started out by saying, you don't know what you're talking about, you're not American. And she said, hey, I'm an American citizen. Okay, you don't know the news. I watch it all day.
You know, because they views, whatever. I'll take everybody's view. But at the same time, right? Obama, let's go back. Obama, 6 months for what? 6 months.
Everything's gonna explode.
Oh, you know, it's been a year and 5 months, no explosion.
It's in your head. It's in your head.
Every time I didn't say
like you
that,
breaking up by your
don't put
coffee?
your flag in my face.
Yeah, let's go get you coffee.
It's okay. Every time a Republican is in office, the Democrats go around yelling, the sky is falling.
Yeah.
The sky is falling. No, it is.
I want to ask you a question.
They did it under Bush Sr., under Bush Jr., not a fan of both, okay? But they did it under them. They called them Nazis. They called them all those names. I saw an old video where they were doing that, and I'm like, this didn't start yesterday.
Since Congress has passed, none. What did Joe Biden do? Congress is totally. What did Joe Biden do? I'm not talking about Joe Biden. I'm talking about he ruined our country. That's what he because of what Joe Biden did. What's your problem?
What's your problem?
What Joe Biden do? He let in illegal immigrants. So wait, I want to ask let me ask you a question there. So you have a man over here that just explained. You have a man over here who just explained to you exactly what Obama did. Now that I've got a black man telling you that Obama didn't do anything for the black community, he also told you that Obama was commander in deportation. What do you have to say to that?
I have no idea what he's talking about. Because now he won't even allow anybody in the country.
If that's the case, Miss, Respectfully. Let's make it make sense.
That's not true.
Excuse me, miss. Respectfully.
Let the man speak. The guy wants to speak. The guy wants to speak. Stop.
You gotta let her talk if you want to have a progressive.
Get out of here, Miss 995 Mask. They're having a conversation.
This is my mom.
Okay, well, your mom's having a conversation.
Yes,
No one's yelling. I'm not yelling. I have it on camera. I'm not yelling, bro. Nobody's yelling.
conservative, that means.
Well, to be fair, they kind of were yelling, okay? They were excited, okay? You know, whenever you meet leftists and talk about anything, okay, they deny, deflect, and then they lie. And we saw that with the lady who essentially wants us to believe that that only the Democrats have the ability to run things and run them well. The blue cities are proof that the Democrats don't know how to run an ice cream store. They don't even know how to run a lemonade stand, okay? Most abortion supporters would say LGBT people are born that way. Aborting them because they might be gay would be wrong, wouldn't it? Now let's watch where their inconsistent logic falls apart. Hang on, why is it? All right.
Maybe just somebody just doesn't want to have a gay child. Should they be able to abort?
We are definitely pro-choice.
Okay. Do you support a woman's right to choose for any reason?
Any reason whatsoever.
If we were able to find out before a baby is born, just like we're able to find out if they have fetal abnormalities or Down syndrome, their gender.
They were going to be gay, and this
Should
is
we
a
be-
religious couple.
Yeah. Or maybe just somebody just doesn't want to have a gay child. Should they be able to abort?
Got me in.
Look, I've seen people, okay, who are not religious, who are not comfortable with the gay or alternative sexual lifestyle. Leftists, well, rightly so, paint the picture that everyone who isn't comfortable with a gay or alternative lifestyle is somehow religious. But they can't fathom that there are actually people who who aren't comfortable with an alternative lifestyle, and they don't have to be religious, okay? They don't have to be religious. So they always want to go there. Why do they go there? Because they paint a target on religion and make it the next frontier to conquer. And that's why there's such an attack on faith in the United States.
That's like a little riddle there. It's kind of a riddle.
It's not a
It's her
riddle.
choice, her body, her
They'd
choice.
be able to abort, of course. Anybody should be able to abort.
For the reason of their child being gay?
Oh.
You know, I like this because they are the champions of coming up with, what if this person was raped? They should be able to abort. Okay, so now you're standing in the middle of a conundrum. And, you know, this is where their inconsistent logic begins to fall apart.
Does it sound bad?
Yeah. No. No, I mean, abortion should always be your right as a woman.
But not...
if you're past 12 weeks or whatever, and you
boy.
find out you
She's
have a gay
trying
baby,
so
it
hard.
should never be aborted, and maybe then they could put it up for adoption.
She's
Plenty
trying
of couples
so
out
hard.
there would love to have a gay baby.
Well, that's why we're anti-abortion, because there's over 2 million families waiting to adopt. There's a lot of women with infertility issues. All those children that are going to be aborted, that are unwanted, could be given to families that can't have a child.
Yeah, straight true. I love the way you think. It's lovely, yeah.
I love the
Thank
way you think. Their logic falls completely apart. Guys, we're jumping into today's show. Now, remember yesterday that we watched this video with Robert De Niro crashing out over Trump during their struggle session. Now, Scott Jennings had this to say in response to that abhorrent speech.
I think you have to love your country, whether or not you lost the last election. I love America. And, you know, according to some polling that came out this weekend, most Republicans love America. 90% are very proud to be Americans. They're proud of living in this country. Unfortunately, I think Mr. De Niro's comments are pretty indicative of a majority of Democrats who can't seem to find that attitude, which I applaud, inside them to love your country, even though you lost the last election.
Yeah.
And, loving America, being a patriot for America, feeling good about America shouldn't be dictated by whether you won or lost. When I hear De Niro, I hear him saying, I can only love America if we win every election from here on out. That's a rather fascist statement. I think you have to love your country, whether or not you lost the last election.
I totally agree with this statement. Okay, so give a like, give a sub, give a thumbs up. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section. All right, let's get our comments rolling in. Now, something came to my attention late. Was it early this morning or late last night? I can't remember. Everything is bleeding together. Did you know that there was actually a plot, a terror plot to bomb and fire on attendees of the UFC 250 event? Okay. Now we're going to listen to this. And guys, while we're listening to this, I want you to answer the question. How many times did you hear that stuff like this happened with Obama, with Clinton, even with Joe Biden? Okay. How many times did you hear that there were assassination attempts, there were plots, and it's almost like it's so regular right now that we're being so desensitized to it? So let's hear this report, because this literally happened. And the FBI did such a fantastic job. The Secret Service did such a fantastic job that we didn't hear about it until after the event.
Thank you. Good morning. Stop cold. FBI Director Kash Patel used those words to describe the quick-thinking action of agents and other law enforcement to prevent a planned attack on a White House event. This is the Faulkner Focus. Good morning. I'm John Roberts in for Harris. D.C. officials told Fox News that the UFC Freedom 250 event in D.C. this past weekend was the target of a two-wave terror plot.
Wow.
The FBI arrested multiple people across several states, including 2 from California, charged with conspiracy to commit murder. About 85,000 tickets were made available for fans to watch the event at the 52-acre Ellipse Park just south of the White House. Here's Vice President J.D. Vance earlier on Fox.
This is very, very dark stuff. This is what happens when people turn the rhetoric up so loud that disagreeing with somebody is a cause for violence. That's the place that we've come to, unfortunately. I think a lot of my Democratic colleagues in Washington have got to look themselves in the mirror and say, why is so much of this political violence coming from our side of the spectrum?
Yeah.
Maybe they can do something different.
Yeah.
Justice correspondent David Spott following the story. He's here with us in Washington. Good morning, David.
John, good morning to you. We're thankful that this did not turn into an actual plot. Those 2 men, as you mentioned, who were arrested in California and are being charged with conspiracy to commit murder, they appeared in federal court in California yesterday. A teenager is facing charges in Ohio. John, around 4,300 people were in attendance for UFC 250, wow, including 1,200 service members. Investigators tell Fox the alleged plan was to use an explosive-laden drones to hit buildings near the event, which could force a mass evacuation and steer crowds towards a pre-staged sniper team.
I totally agree.
Wave was allegedly planning to storm the White House. One suspect allegedly told investigators the goal was to target, quote, capitalist elites or billionaires or politicians who receive donations.
You know, Deuce, the thing that baffles me is how, with a straight face, Democrats claim that Trump and his administration are funded and supported by billionaires and oligarchs. Meanwhile, Kamala Harris had more billionaires backing her campaign than Trump. So they want to make it sound like Elon accounts for all the billionaires in the United States. They had more billionaires on their side. Okay? They had more funding. Look, it's just weird. And then when you see these reports of leftists plotting to kill the sitting president of the United States, and now you're going to hear leftists say, well, if Trump wasn't so polarizing, no one would want to kill him. It's the upside down insanity. It's crazy, guys. It's just crazy. Let's keep listening. And thanks for the comments. And it's great to have you in the chat. I hope you hang around.
From the American-Israeli Public Affairs Committee, known as AIPAC. Now, in Ohio, a 19-year-old named Tyson Proper, according to multiple sources, was taken into custody. Authorities say that he allegedly spent $3,000 of his graduation money to purchase ammunition, guns, and magazines for the alleged attack. In California, two men, Brian Roa and Michael Allen Thomas, were arrested and, as I mentioned, appeared in court yesterday. Authorities have 23 people on the list as part of a potential network of alleged plotters. And there is more. Investigators uncovered encrypted chats on cell phones where people allegedly discussed attacking the UFC event. And one of the people in the chat identified some 23 users discussing what's called pre-operational activity. And some, John, allegedly planned to travel to Fredericksburg, Virginia, just south of Washington, D.C., a day or two before the fight to prepare for the alleged attack. As we go on throughout the day, more of these court documents are going to be unsealed. We're told that we will find out more about the names and the people behind this alleged plot that, as I said when I joined you, thankful never materialized. John.
Yeah, thankfully this thing got rolled up before it got put into play. David Spunt, get back to us if you get any more. Thanks so much.
Thanks,
Nicole
John.
Parker, former FBI special agent and Fox News contributor, joins us now. I guess it's pretty clear, Nicole, that every time President Trump hosts some kind of an event, it's going to be a potential target.
Yeah.
You're exactly right, John, and this was no different. And thank goodness for the FBI, the Secret Service, and all of local law enforcement that assisted in this daunting task. I think what's important to note is that events of this magnitude, it is not expected. Law enforcement is on edge. The intel community is on edge, and they are looking for those tips to come in. And in this particular incident, my understanding is that a relative heard a family member speaking about their desire to carry out nefarious acts in Washington, D.C. And
I heard that it was the 19-year-old's mom or one of the moms of one of the 20-plus people involved in this plot. Well, kudos to her if she could turn in her own family. But you know what? No one wants to be the mom of the next Lee Harvey Oswald. I mean, that name is forever, relegated to I don't want to say the dustbin of history because that's an Ilhan Omar and Hassan Piker phrase. But it's going to be hard for anyone to hear that name and not feel horrible inside.
And they reported that to law enforcement. So we say over and over, if you see something, say something. In this instance, they did say something.
Yeah, Deuce, you said hopefully they get prison time. Look, I hope they get prison time. I hope they throw the book at them because the federal government needs to put the fear of God in these kids. Like, these kids think that this is Call of Duty. Okay, they think that shooting into a crowd of innocent people is Call of Duty. Okay, we'll have more to say about that. So keep the chats coming. I'm going to read every single chat and respond. Thank you so much for that chat, Deuce.
Because of the FBI, the Secret Service under the Trump administration and local law enforcement, they acted on it swiftly. The FBI and law enforcement learned of it on June 10th. The event was on June 14th.
Wow.
Allegedly, again, people had planned to go to Fredericksburg, Virginia to do pre-planning. And there was extensive planning that went into this, I believe. But again, if you see something, it is your responsibility to speak up because we cannot have this types of incidents terrorizing our country. UFC 250 was an iconic event. The targeting of the location was no coincidence. It was at the White House, honoring our country's 250th birthday. Like they said, billionaires were allegedly, of interest. I know Mark Zuckerberg was present. Capitalism was at the top of the list. That's things that these people that want to terrorize our country, they hate and despise, and they want to do anything they can to create chaos, destruction, evil, and murder.
Let's call them what they are, okay? They're communists and they're terrorists. Let's call them what they are. The Democrat Party has become the Antifa Party, okay? It's high time we just put it out there. The Democrat Party is the Antifa Party. Look, they call Republicans and MAGA Nazis, right? Right? Okay? You can't put the toothpaste back in the tube. So since they're saying to everyone else out there, you guys are Nazis, okay, fine. Let's look at what your voters are doing routinely. Your voters routinely attack Republicans and MAGA voters routinely, and they think that they're doing God's work. That's terrorism. Okay, let's finish up this report and then, of course, keep the chats coming.
Now, let's not forget, too, that 4,300 people were actually at the event at the White House, on the White House grounds, but there were tens of thousands more who were watching that party at the Ellipse as well. So the idea of a target-rich environment is just off the charts here. Here's what the Secret Service said. They said, quote, "Our most important responsibility is safeguarding the president and every person under Secret Service protection. In the days leading up to this weekend, our special agents, mission support personnel, and technical security teams worked around the clock to identify those responsible and hold them accountable." As you point out, this plot was uncovered on June the 10th. That's just 4 days before this event took place. Can you imagine if it had gone missed?
Well, again, the plot was quite extensive, in my opinion. They had planned to first use, drones with explosives to attack nearby buildings in the vicinity, and then they knew that would cause a mass evacuation, and then they were going to do the sniper act and probably target as many people as they could in the mass chaos of evacuation, and then they planned to storm the actual White House gates. And so the signal chat with 23 individuals. Let's see what happens. I wouldn't be shocked, John, if there were several more arrests that come into this conspiracy. Court records will be unveiled. We will get more information. And there's no end to this. FBI, Secret Service, they will continue to do a full investigation. Department of Justice will make sure that justice is brought to anyone that tries to inflict pain on those who are literally celebrating the freedom of America and our 250th birthday.
Yeah, well, 5 people in custody so far, 23 apparently, if not more, involved in this plot. So I would expect that more arrests are yet to come. Nicole Parker for us this morning.
So Deuce says, when I was 19, I could have cared less who was president. I definitely wasn't thinking about taking the president out. Look, we saw what was going on, at high schools and middle schools across the United States on May Day, on Workers' Day. They're indoctrinating kids in schools. It's not just the porn content that they're trying to, put into the libraries of K through 12 schools. It's also the fact that activists are educating kids. They're training the kids to hate. All right? They're training the kids to hate. And and it's the internet too. You're correct. Is the internet too. Now, this is the kid. Okay, now this is the kid at 14. And here he is, I think, at 19. Okay? This is the 19-year-old that got caught, according to reports. Okay, and according to this video, let's see. He had a future ahead of him. Like, this guy was a computer whiz. Okay, let's listen to him.
I am, many of you are not going to believe this, but I'm a professional type person. I'm a geek guy. I'm very good with computers. Alright, hello. Again, in the video. Alright, so the reason why I left TikTok is because of since people say China's spying on us. I don't think that, and I do think it. I believe it and don't believe it.
Like, this is a guy at 14, and it's hard to think that he would turn out to be this guy who was involved in a plot to fire on the UFC 250 event because he's been trained to hate the president and trained to hate his supporters. We heard the young lady earlier who said, if you support the administration, if you support ICE, you deserve to die. Like, I'm trying really hard to comprehend, just like you said, Deuce, at 19, what was I thinking? Okay, I was in college. I was trying to get my grades up. Look, it's hard to imagine that this is actually the world that we live in. Deuce said, at this point, I wish the internet was never invented. Do you know what? Sometimes it looks like it, but on the other hand, the world is kind of better for it, because the kinds of things that world governments used to get about without being called out and held to account. It was impossible to do without the internet. Okay, so yes, the internet has created some of these evil situations, but it's been facilitated by some bad actors who just want to use a great tool and weaponize it against freedom. Deus says, I was thinking about girls. I think I was thinking about girls too. Okay. I wasn't thinking about doing that. Gardening says, saw kids on TikTok copying each other and acting like they're stabbing white kids like Carmelo Anthony or shooting like Charlie Kirk. Yeah, look, it has become such an evil, toxic space. And speaking of evil and toxic, okay, the guy on the screen is just that, okay? Evil, toxic. Says everything a leader of a city shouldn't say. And here he is being asked a question about a guy who set up a burning cross in Chicago. And right on cue, his Democrat Antifa mind wants to claim that it is MAGA because they want to be they want everyone to believe that MAGA Republicans are the KKK. They forget that we know that the KKK was actually funded and propped up by the Democrat Party. We know that. Okay. Now, here he is making that stupid statement.
Merlin Liu, who was interviewed by NBC5, who admitted to allegedly burning the cross in Grant Park. During that interview, he seemed to lack an understanding of the meaning behind burning a cross and the implications of that. How concerning is that to you as mayor of, obviously, of a city with a predominantly black population, and do you think there needs to be more education around that?
Well, look, I can't speak to his lack of or understanding of the gravity of what he's alleged of having done. And, again, it's a painful reminder of how hatred towards black Americans still permeates, in our society.
Okay, so he's saying hatred towards black Americans, and this is the guy. All right, so so this is the guy who set the cross on fire. It turns out that the KKK burning cross found in Chicago was made by a socialist gay Asian. You can't make this up, guys.
Wait until he may or may not get impeached. I want him gone right now.
On that video, are you threatening him?
Oh, boy.
You say that you think that he should be brought to an end.
I said he deserves to stand trial to the American people. Some paraphrase, I guess. But
I think you used the word end.
That's what I mean by end. I mean, by end, I don't mean like a civil war, if that is the imagery that you're trying to imagine.
Liu says he built this cross after carrying wooden slats from his near West Side apartment to Grant Park last Tuesday afternoon. He showed the red ball cap that he put on the top beam and used lighter fluid and toilet paper to get it all going.
I put a red hat to signify the MAGA hat, the Make America Great Again hat. So that was, yeah, that's what.
So the red cross the cross that was set on fire in protest against MAGA. And Brandon Johnson, okay, his lightning fast mind believed that was an attack against black people.
What I tied on top.
But that's not visible in the one video that was taken by a motorist.
Liu says he was protesting what he calls MAGA Christian nationalist supporters and the Trump administration ruling class.
He's just scamming people. We're just scamming out of money. Right? And I think that's a great reflection of how this country works right now. I don't want to.
Yeah, so, gardening, Deuce, this is a sick world that we're watching right now. And another thing that, we watched the anti-ICE protest and we saw this guy threatening ICE agents. He made this video, and guess what? He's been arrested. Breaking, the DOJ has just criminally charged 15 leftists tied to Antifa, the left-wing groups. Let's call Antifa the brown shirts of the Democrat Party. They are the brown shirts of the Democrat Party. Mark Heimler with a $10 super chat. It's been a while, Mike Heimler. I've been wondering when you would turn up. Hello there, you awesome human being. How are you this fine day? Well, I am great. We had a members only live stream today. I'll talk about it sometime during the live stream. It was great. I would like to let you guys know more about it. Okay, so let's watch this report and watch some other videos about the arrests.
My name is Kyle. I'm Antifa, and there's so much rage in me that I've had to record this like 15 times trying to get the message out. They fucked up. Okay, go watch my other videos. Doesn't matter if you're not here and you're not caught up. You missed the fucking fight. But if you are, it's time to suit up. Boots on the ground. Nicollet and fucking 26th. My house is 4 blocks away. Anywhere between Franklin and Nicollet and 26th and Nicollet. Show up, ready to go.
So he was essentially calling for other supporters, other activists to come suited up and armed because they were going to take down ICE. Well, when that was going on, I expressed my concerns. Those of you who saw my videos and watched my live streams, oh, no. They arrested the idiot. Okay? Intergalactic Wrangler is like, didn't they arrest that idiot? Yeah, they did. And I think this is one of the people who got arrested, okay? So
612-444-2654.
Is your dog okay? Not my dog.
Well, they're asking about his dog. Yeah, so he's being arrested.
Isaac Sant.
His name's ISAAC, last name SANT.
Thank you.
Lawyer is Kevin Rich. I very much like that you could call him.
We'll do it.
Rich is spelled R-I-C-H.
612-444-2654.
Yeah, you just
Nazis.
been arrested for threatening the lives of federal
Nazis.
agents.
Fucking Nazis.
Oh, so well, go
Fuck
on.
out of our neighborhood.
Go on. You're next. Okay, you're next. Because if this is the attitude you guys take when someone breaks the law, okay,
Fat
I
piece
guess
of
you're
shit.
next.
Get the fuck out of here. Lazy motherfuckers. Go. Look at them.
It's crazy that you have people who think like this guy making this video. It's crazy. And you know what? I want to say thank you to him for providing this video because it brings a lot of satisfaction to me. Because you know what? Back in February when that guy, this guy, where's that video? When this guy made the video calling for Antifa activists to suit up, strap on, and head out to attack Antifa agents, I kept screaming into the microphone, what on earth is going on? Okay, I kept screaming. And you know what? I'm glad that they're getting arrested. And here's the press conference where that was announced.
Today, a federal indictment was unsealed, charging 15 defendants with conspiracy to impede or injure federal officers and other charges related to efforts of 2 Minneapolis-based Antifa groups that violently opposed the enforcement of federal law in our state. Today,
so that was the announcement. Okay. Intergalactic Wrangler says, precious little lady is worried about the dog. Well, you know, the great thing is that they care more about dogs than about the lives of people. Dogs are great. Okay, dogs are great. But when you hear that someone has been plotting to attack federal agents simply because they want to remove illegal aliens from the country who are violent, committed crimes, possibly assaulted American citizens, and you are attacking them and impeding them, there's a problem there. I don't think you have your priorities, straight. But I'm sure she's a nice lady. She's a grandma to kids who love her very much. Meanwhile, guys, now keep the chats coming. I'm going to read the chat, okay? I'm going to read the chat. I promise. I'll read every single chat. And I hope everyone is comfy. Hope you got your popcorn. Because JD Vance took on The View. When I heard he was going to The View, I felt like, okay, well, let's see how this pans out. And true to form, The View did what The View does, okay? They were only there to talk over JD Vance, all right? They were only there to talk over JD Vance. And here's Whoopi Goldberg asking JD Vance why the Trump administration is stigmatizing Black people. Oh, jeez.
Do to this administration that has allowed it to really stigmatize folks of color. And you know how hard it is.
How?
You have folks of color in your family.
Sure.
So when you see, things, the Emmett Till stuff coming down, or them doing all kinds of removal of information.
What kind of information?
Heroes,
what kind?
How does that sit with you?
Well, what exactly are you talking about, Whoopi? Because you just I know Emmett Till was the kid. No, I want to know what she's.
You don't know what I'm talking
to your
about.
actual point.
So in a lot of the museums, there's so many. Where they're taking down the actual history that happened in this country. Slavery happened. All kinds of stuff happened. And it seems that it has been very easy for this administration to remove that, and also to denigrate Black folks who have worked their behinds off to get this American dream. How do you, you know better.
So Sonny, that was actually a very helpful intervention, because I think the story you're talking about is where, allegedly the administration is holding back the appointments of people based on skin color. I've seen the story.
I'm talking about a host of things. I'm talking about Black history getting erased from public spaces. Black voter districts are being dismantled. Black leaders are being sidelined.
What's Black history is being erased?
Where do Americans of color fit in this vision?
I'm going to skip and go over to Deuce. What is she talking about? Exactly. Look, these people lie, and they're all actors. Their job is to act in such a way that whatever they say is believable. The people listening to them believe that, oh my goodness, this is actually happening, until you go and do your own research.
Because it doesn't seem like we fit.
I think, Sonny, my view,
So this Black woman, because Sonny Huston, who's from Puerto Rico, I think, wants us to believe, okay, that she's Black. Okay, fine. She's mixed. She's mulatto. I believe she is. Her family owned slaves. Of course, she doesn't want us to talk about that because she's on the right side of history, because she's a leftist. Okay. And then she wants to say that that Black people are being disenfranchised while sitting in a studio being paid millions of dollars by ABC. Same thing for Whoopi Goldberg. These guys are just hypocrites, and I'm fed up of the hypocrisy.
And if I may, since October of last year, there's been something like 6,668 refugees allowed into the country. All but 3 were white South Africans.
Yes.
So first of all, I'm very skeptical of that number, because we have a lot of different immigration pathways in the United States of America. But let me just address Whoopi's point. Look, first of all, you asked the question, and maybe you don't believe this coming from me, but I think everybody is welcome in our political coalition. Frankly, even if you didn't vote for us, everybody is welcome in our country, so long as you're an American citizen with the duties and the legal obligations and rights to be here. But Whoopi, let me just give you an example of this. Okay, so you say that we're anti-minority or anti-Black.
No, I didn't say that. I asked. See?
Well, okay, fine. Fair.
Don't start any stuff with me, man. Don't get me in trouble.
Well, but she does put words in people's mouths, and now she's like trying to say that she didn't. Well, let's keep listening. You know, I'm riled up, guys. I'm riled up. So I am biased and I'm riled up and I'm upset. I don't like the view. Okay. So I'm biased. Okay. I'm owning up to that. Let's keep listening.
I misinterpreted your question,
That's
but let me answer your actual.
Now, have you ever heard the view take correction whenever it's been pointed out that what they said was wrong? Let me know in the chat.
Question there. What I'm saying,
and Deuce says they just project nonsense. They do. Look, a few days ago, I subjected the chat to Jasmine Crockett, and we all lost. You know, we all felt like we stuck our heads into a microwave, and you know, we know how that feels theoretically. And now I'm subjecting you guys to the view. So I'm so sorry. I apologize. And while I'm apologizing, okay, if you enjoy the content and this is your first time here, please consider subscribing to the channel. Hit the bell icon and hit that like button to let YouTube know that you know, more people like you need to find this channel and hang out with us. We go live every day, Sundays through to Fridays at 9 p.m. Eastern. So please remember that. Set your calendar, set your clock, and please subscribe. Let's keep going.
I think, okay, look at Washington, D.C. One of the most democratic and one of the blackest, by share of population, blackest cities in the United States of America, has seen a radical decrease in violent crimes and sexual assaults and in murders. We have tried to take the crime issue seriously, in part because we believe everybody, whether you're black or white or rich or poor, deserves to live in a safe neighborhood.
Why does the crime? Where does the crime step in? This is not about crime. This is about
lost their jobs.
Right. This is about human
Sonny,
rights.
What you're saying is. We got to do more on the economy.
And black history has been erased from public spaces.
Black history is not erased from public spaces.
It's not erased. It's not true simply because you said so. Okay? It's not true because you said so. Gardening says, there you go again, saying that name. Jasmine Crockett is not Voldemort. Okay? Texas decided to undo that mistake by saying no this time, and I'm glad. I'm glad. She made for great content, but I'm glad she's not returning to Congress next year. Yes, I have seen them come in with a paper 3 times to change what they have said or have repercussions from lawyers. Yeah, but what I mean is when they're talking to guests and guests are pushing back, they don't retract what they say unless there's a legal paper in front of them and they know that they're going to either get sued or fired. You know, so like that's what I've seen.
Iran when we get back. There's some very important news
I'm telling you, we celebrate Black history. We celebrate all American history. In this administration, you guys might be skeptical of this, but I promise you it's true.
I have to go to break. God,
you know, so that was J.D. Vance sparring with the ladies of The View. All right. Now, there's one more video of their exchange that I'm going to play. I'm going to play this one with him and Ana Navarro.
To work and be my colleague that have tried to find evidence of that. There is no evidence that Maduro was releasing people from insane asylums or jails like Fidel Castro did do. This was made up. And we just can't, accept it without pushing back.
Anna, we know that there were people who were released from prisons who were encouraged to come into the United States.
It wasn't the Mariel, Mr. Vice President. It was.
So Ana Navarro now works for the Pentagon, right?
Where it was like a purposeful release, open up the jails, open up the insane asylums, and let people flood Florida. I lived through that in Miami.
If you go, it may not have been like Mariel, but if you go back to the caravans that were happening in 22, 23, we know that those things were funded. They were in some ways supported by the government.
There was absolutely.
So I don't know how you define support or not support, but if people are encouraged to come into our country after having spent time in prison by their own governments, I think.
Who used to work and be my.
All right, so it's crazy how these people believe that they have all the information. Okay, they believe that they have more information on what's going on than Trump does. And so they push back, claiming that none of the things that the Trump administration is revealing are true because they know better and because Trump lies. That's what they want all of us to believe. Okay, now there's the Epstein lie. And I said that would be the last one, but I guess we have to look at the Epstein lie that they've been telling. Okay, so I'm going to just subject you to just a little bit of pain, some more pain, so please bear with me.
One of the things you see in the Epstein emails is that Jeffrey Epstein hated Donald Trump, and that Donald Trump literally reported Jeffrey Epstein to the police.
Yeah.
That's one of the things that came out of these
They were
files.
best friends for
How
about
were
a
they
decade.
best
And
friends?
remember, he signed that Transparency Act under duress when some Republican women, congresswomen like Lauren Boebert, like Marjorie Taylor Greene, did not give in to his pressure of not signing. He brought Lauren Boebert into the Situation Room to pressure her into caving on not voting for that bill.
So let me respond to that. So
That's all true.
Let me respond to that. So number one is, yes, Donald Trump, and he said this, he knew Jeffrey Epstein back in the 1980s. He also threw Jeffrey Epstein out of his club when he found out he was a creep and reported him to the police. That's something that the media often misses when it reports this story. They tell the fact that they knew each other in the 80s, which the president himself admits. They ignore the fact that he narked on him to the police and led ultimately to JeffreyEpstein's downfall. To that point, Anna, you know the Republican Party. Well, it's one of the things that led to law enforcement investigation. But on the point that you
And
made,
it was allegedly over a real estate deal that they got into a fight over.
but the email says
And
actually
they didn't just know each other. Let's just be truthful and transparent here. They didn't just know each other. They were incredibly close friends.
he reported him to the police. That's what,
You know, these clowns would claim that President Trump was close to Epstein over one photo of them, or several photos of them standing side by side, but glaze over the fact that Bill Clinton was in a pool with Ghislaine Maxwell and some unnamed girls and routinely showed up at Epstein's island. And they're like, oh no, they were just acquaintances. He didn't really know who Epstein was. He was in a pool with Epstein's partner. It's crazy. Like the hypocrisy. Look, anyone who listens to these people and believes them, we can't help you.
That's what I'm saying. That is objective. That is objectively true. But Anna made another point that I think I would be if I may, because Anna made a very important point. This question about, did Donald Trump release these files only under duress from Republicans? And Anna, you know the Republican Party probably better than I do. The idea that Donald Trump runs around afraid of Republican congressmen as opposed to the other way around is kind of crazy.
What was the bipartisan? It was Republicans and Democrats.
All right, so the ladies of The View claim that President Trump was friends, and here's the evidence. This is a prosecutor, a lawyer who worked with the Justice Department, who actually said this about President Trump's cooperating with them to take down Epstein.
One more question on that document, and this goes to the more salacious rumors, but I would like you to just, whatever you can say on it. Obviously, our current president has had relationships with Epstein in the past, and there are those, Katie Johnson and maybe other victims who have accused Trump of being involved in things like this. In my experience, Trump supporters will not listen to anything along those lines. Obviously, we're not a court of law here right now, but are those claims, though that case was dropped, it was dropped before it went to court. In your opinion as a lawyer and your experience, is there anything you can say as to the validity of those claims, or whether or not there will be any more about that?
Nothing at all. The only thing that I can say about President Trump is that he is the only person who, in 2009, when I served a lot of subpoenas on a lot of people, or at least gave notice to some pretty connected people that I wanted to talk to them, he is the only person who picked up the phone and said, let's just talk. I'll give you as much time as you want. I'll tell you what you need to know, and was very helpful in the information that he gave, and gave no indication whatsoever that he was involved in anything untoward whatsoever, but had good information that checked out and that helped us, and that we didn't have to take a deposition of him.
And that was in 2009?
That was in 2009.
2009.
So,
do you know if there's any truth to James Patterson's claims that Trump kicked Epstein out of Mar-a-Lago?
I've definitely heard that. I definitely heard that, and I don't know that it was Trump himself as opposed to a manager there.
Trump's club, so people credit him.
I've heard the rumor that Epstein was kicked out of there for allegedly trying to pick up somebody's daughter or something like that.
Wow.
But I think I did chase that down as far as I could, and never was able to confirm it, but I heard it.
Yeah, that is insane. So guys, let's see. Intergalactic Wrangler says, did you see Bill snickering at photos in the hearing? It was creepy. Look, when we heard that Bill and Hillary were called in for the deposition and hearing, and we saw those videos, you and I knew that nothing was going to happen to them. Okay, nothing's going to happen to those two. It's all window dressing. They weren't going to get into any trouble. Okay, and it's just sad that this is the world we live in. Okay, so let's see. I'm trying to decide on what next to play, because while we were busy celebrating Flag Day, we had some insane reports coming out about Gavin Newsom being investigated. And some people are jumping for joy. Will anything come of it? Well, I don't know, but let's listen to Gavin, and squeal about being persecuted by the Trump DOJ.
One by one, anyone who has challenged Donald Trump has ended up on his hit list. And today, I proudly join that list. After calling for my arrest last year, Donald Trump directed his Department of Justice to investigate me. And just in the last week, I've learned that his campaign has reached my own home. To get me, he's coming after my wife, Jen, a public servant, a woman who's dedicated her life to supporting women and girls, someone who has done nothing wrong other than having the temerity to advocate for what she believes in. If they can't intimidate me, they'll go after the mother of our children. Donald Trump picked the wrong target. We have nothing to hide. His political operatives can take every record and read every page, but they'll be looking in the wrong place. Because if they really want to find corruption, look no further than 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue.
Well, Tim Walz did the same dog and pony show. Okay. And by the way, Gavin, those acting classes are working out great. I mean, you're really, you're exuding confidence right there. So kudos to your coach. Tim Walz did the same thing. He huffed, he puffed, he puffed out his chest. There's no corruption here. Anyone who says there's corruption is a white supremacist. And guess what happened? He folded. Okay. So we're going to see what's going to happen with that situation. But CNN is covering it as well. And let's hear what they have to say.
Right now, Caitlin, I think there's serious reason to doubt the narrative that's being offered by Gavin Newsom, which is that he is being specifically targeted by Donald Trump for political retribution. Now, to be sure, it is a fact that this administration has done that time and again, from Letitia James to Jim Comey to Jerome Powell to Mark Kelly on down the line. But based on the facts we know here, we don't know everything. It does not appear that that's what's happening here. First of all, very importantly, as Paula said, the reporting is that this investigation did not initiate from Donald Trump or even from prosecutors in D.C. So not from Pam Bondi when she was AG, not from Todd Blanche. Rather, it arose organically from the U.S. Attorney's Office out in the Eastern District of California based on a whistleblower complaint, reportedly, which is a normal way that cases start. And second of all, if they are, in fact, investigating people around Gavin Newsom, as Paula just reported, then sure, you would expect feds to be knocking on doors and asking questions of people around Gavin Newsom. So I think the narrative that he offered up today is self-serving and a bit overly simplistic given the actual facts as we know them.
Well, I think that's simple. And of course, we know that Democrats always want you to believe that they're the victims, that Trump is a fascist, he wants to destroy them, and so on. And like I said, let's see how this pans out, okay? So far, we've seen Democrat after Democrat challenge Trump, claim that he's the corrupt one, and then it turns out that they were actually the ones who were hiding a lot of corruption. And Californians know that Gavin Newsom's government is very, very corrupt. So I'm sure they're watching him huff and puff, and they're like, dude, they will find something. And of course, he's going to claim that it is persecution, it is the weaponization of the justice system, and so on. Now, we have a few other stories here about, the talking heads on CNN essentially claiming that Democrats aren't running on a card or they're not campaigning on impeaching Trump. Let's have a listen.
I believe Al Green filed an impeachment resolution. That's going to happen. But also, you're going to have Democrats who are talking like Sherrod Brown, who's talking about things like inflation.
Let me ask you a question. If you went to a Democratic political dinner tonight and somebody asked you in front of the crowd, should we impeach Donald Trump? And you said no. What would happen to you? Would you be thrown out in 3 seconds or 1 second?
Democrats are not running on impeachment, and that is not what they're talking to the American people. No, they aren't. It's a fact, Scott. They are not running on impeachment.
Don't ask me. I think the president of the United States should be impeached, but I ain't running for that.
All right, next for us.
So they are not running on impeachment. Okay, yeah, right. And this guy is a Democrat, and here's what he's running on.
Hi, Donald. It's me, George Conway. I cost you $88 million, and I've only just gotten started. I know you like putting your name on everything, from your plane to the Kennedy Center. Sorry about that. But the only thing your name is going to be left on when I'm done with you is the orange jumpsuit you're going to have to wear in prison. And you see that building back there? That's where we're going to hold your third and final impeachment trial. The one that's going to put you away for good. And I'm going to enjoy every minute of that. We've got a lot of serious problems in this country, including and especially the price of gas, which is hitting $6 a gallon in some places. And that's all because of you, Donald Trump. But we can't fix those problems until we impeach you and convict you. And that's why I'm running for Congress. And you are going to regret that.
Oh, my goodness. Look, whenever a Democrat's lips are moving, don't believe them. I'm sorry. Okay, this might sound highly partisan and biased, but we have so much evidence that shows that these people can't be believed. All right, they can't be believed. Now, why am I playing this? It's because, of course, the midterms are down the road. It's not too far off, and we all need to know who we're campaigning against or who we're voting against. And here, the Democrats say, okay, no, we're not campaigning on impeaching Trump while they're campaigning on impeaching Trump. But there's something much darker being set up. And Scott Jennings talks about it here. Let me click play.
They chose to make a big deal out of the fact that a federal judge had ruled that they had to scrape Donald Trump's name off the side of the Kennedy Center in Washington, D.C. You might remember that the Kennedy Center board had voted to make it the Donald Trump and John F. Kennedy Center. And they put Donald Trump's name on it. And this created all sorts of howling from liberals and Democrats and media. Illegal, illegal, they said. So there's been a court battle going on, and one judge has ruled, no, you cannot put Donald Trump's name up on this building. This all happened, by the way, on Friday night. Now, you can't get the government on the phone after 3 o'clock on a Friday for much of anything. But on Friday night, somehow we found all the workers and all the scaffolding and all the tools that you could possibly need to scrape Donald Trump's name off the side of a building.
Crazy.
Good luck getting the government on the phone for anything else. But to scrape Donald Trump's name off of something, absolutely. We can scramble the jets. We can get everything you could possibly need. So on Friday night, I'm sitting there. We choose to lead the show with this story. We had a live camera out there. And on that live camera, you could hear a crowd. A crowd had gathered. This is how ate up Democrats are. A live crowd had gathered at the Kennedy Center because they wanted to watch Donald Trump's name be scraped off the side of the Kennedy Center. Took a few minutes to put the whole thing together. The letters came down just past 3 a.m. Mind you, 3 o'clock in the morning on a Saturday morning, the federal government's working. I mean, it doesn't work during normal business hours most weekdays, but to scrape Trump's name, 3 a.m., we can do it. Now, one of the people that was out there, predictably, was this broken-brained loser named Jim Acosta. I want you to listen to Jim Acosta. He had his phone, and he was live video blogging what was going on. Here's Jim Acosta, cut 2.
But this is a giant waste of time, and it's a sign of what a petulant man-child he can be. But as we've...
these guys are so bitter. Guys, where does the bitterness come from? I don't understand it, okay? I don't understand why they're so bitter. It's hard for me to compute, okay? Where do you think it comes from?
Been saying all night long, and all day long for that matter, this is very much like watching the Berlin Wall coming down.
Berlin Wall.
It is a sign that mankind, that humankind can stand up against tyranny.
Tyranny.
Watching the Berlin Wall come down. Now, Jim Acosta, we used to call news anchor. We used to call journalist. He's now telling us that watching Donald Trump's name being scraped from a building is like watching the fall of the Berlin Wall. But it did remind me, and I'm going to warn you right now, when Donald Trump leaves office, there is going to be an effort by Democrats and media to scrape his name from everything.
Now, I want us to listen to this bit because this is what the Democrats want to do. And when they say something, believe them, okay? Now, I did say earlier, if the Democrats' lips are moving, they're lying. But on this, believe them, because they said they were going to try to put Trump in jail, and they moved heaven and earth to try to do that. So you can believe them on this.
To erase his name from anything having to do with our government and our history books. And Bakari Sellers, my Democrat debating partner on CNN Friday night, was pretty clear about it. Listen to this in cut 15.
And so this is going to be the first, although this is something that individuals can see, not just with their mind's eye, but they can literally see with their eyes, that name coming down. I think that there's going to be a lot of scrubbing from the history books of Donald Trump's name, the things that Donald Trump has done.
This is how broken these people are.
So they are planning, after Trump leaves office, if they take power, to essentially find every way to scrape the effects and whatever Trump has achieved from existence. We saw it when Joe Biden took office. Every executive order he signed on day one was to undo things like securing the border and other Trump-backed policies that his executive order could take down. So it's crazy, and this is what they're planning to do. Now, most of us look back at the Biden years, and some of us have forgotten how bad the censorship industrial complex the Biden administration was pushing was. Okay, so here's a quick reminder, and then after this, we're going to, I'm going to share some of my thoughts, and then, talk about the live stream we had this evening for the members only. I hope you stick around to talk about that. And then also talk about an offer that we're making to join our new Discord server, which we essentially activated during the members only live stream. So we're going to talk about that real quick. So please hang around. And if you're new here and you like the content that we've created and we've put together, please consider subscribing and hitting the bell icon. Hit the thumbs up button, like the video, and let YouTube know that it's great content. And please consider sharing the video with your network. Okay, so let's have a listen to this compilation.
His Twitter account should be suspended. The privilege of using those words in that way should probably be taken from him.
There's no guarantee to free speech on misinformation or hate speech, and especially around our democracy.
No right given to the people of the United States is absolute, and that includes the right to free speech. We are simply trying to create factually correct information to prevent harm to people.
You shouldn't be banned from one platform and not others for providing misinformation out there.
The First Amendment is not absolute. It does not protect any single thing anyone says. And what this committee has been trying to do for the last year and a half is to chill the federal government from monitoring what is going on social media.
There are Americans who are engaged in this kind of propaganda, and whether they should be civilly or even in some cases criminally charged is something that would be a better deterrent.
This is a matter of corporate responsibility. Twitter should be held accountable and shut down that site. It is a matter of safety and corporate accountability.
I strongly believe that Section 230 has long outlived its use, and it is now a real vessel for evil that needs to come to an end. The laws that Section 230 protects these big platforms from are very often laws that go back to the common law of England.
Okay, so guys, evidence that the Democrat Party is not just the Antifa Party. It's not just the party of racism, because they claim that they are fighting racism and democracy, but they are the party of communism, socialism. Okay, they hate capitalism. They hate when Americans succeed. They want government to control everything, and they are the party that hates the First and Second Amendments. All right, they're going after your Second Amendment so that they can take away your First Amendment. So this is crazy. This is what the Democrat Party is, and this is what they're going to do as soon as they take power. Let's read the chat, okay? And then, like I always do, I read through the chat and I respond. Intergalactic Wrangler says, from my understanding, Epstein offered a job to one of Trump's employees and was being creepy about it. Then he was asked to leave. Actually, he was propositioning the daughter of one of the patrons at the resort. That was what got him kicked out. It wasn't just Trump found out that he was trying to recruit his own people. But the straw that broke the camel's back was that Epstein went after one of the daughters of a member of the club. That's what happened. Gardening says, it is sickening to know these people are robbing Americans and so far have not having to pay for it. I really hope we see arrests one day. Well, we're seeing arrests. What we need is, of course, due process, a trial, and jail time. We need to see jail time. If not, all of this will just be for nothing. It'll all be, fanfare. Okay, more grandstanding. Okay, and nothing, comes of it. Okay, so sorry, I'm trying to move my mouse chooses the oddest times to act out. I'm trying to read the next chat. Okay. I'm going to need to buy a new mouse. It's just not moving. Hang on, guys. I'm going to shut it off and turn it on so I can read the next chat. Okay. Keep your chats coming. Okay. Gardening says, the Dems and many Republicans can say they are being politically persecuted and investigated, but when you commit crimes, you are supposed to be investigated. So we need to have these things public so that it is clear to everyone that this wasn't a witch hunt, but that actual crimes were committed. But the problem is that the mainstream media will continue to run cover for the leftists. So even long before the evidence is read, long before the grand jury, report or indictment is read, the left-wing media immediately begins to say that Trump is persecuting his enemies. Okay, we saw it with John Bolton. John Bolton got arrested, and they kept screaming that he was attacking his political opponents until John Bolton recently pled guilty. So the media is the problem. Gardening says, I hope some of the money will come back to the American people if they are ever convicted. Take it all. Well, let's see what happens. Intergalactic Wrangler says, when I was a kid in California, California was the place to want to be. Now I'm glad I'm on the opposite coastline. True. Excuse me. Gardening says the guy is something else. So many with TDS these guys have no life. Like, Trump is living rent-free in their brains. Intergalactic Wrangler says, make Trump's border wall great again. I agree. And he reminds us to smash that like button. Give the thumbs up. Twitter is the only one that still has the element of free speech. Unbelievable. Now, speaking of free speech, during the members only live stream, Intergalactic Wrangler, you were conspicuously absent. And you know that video you sent that you said, hey, we need to watch? Okay, we watched it without you because the guys who showed up voted that was the video to watch, and we watched it without you. We're sorry, but we did. Okay, now, while we were, doing that, we talked about censorship and a way to protect those of us who want to stay connected from the channel. And I mentioned that we had a Discord server that I created back in December of 2024 and had never really been used. And everyone said, hey, let's use it. So we activated it this afternoon and everybody jumped on. And now we want to ask if there are people here who want to also jump on the Discord server. I'm going to be sharing the link to the Discord server right now. I'm going to be sharing the link with you guys. I hope this is the right link. Hang on. Let me make sure I have the right link. I think it is. I think it's the right link. Okay, so now the link is also in the description of the video. Okay, you're joining for free. It's a way for us to stay connected and is a way for us to communicate without Gardening says Intergalactic Angler. Shame, shame, shame. Okay, so let's keep going. Okay, I love reading the chat and seeing you guys, play in the chat. So I've shared the link. Okay, don't click on. A bunch of you have clicked already. Okay, so I've shared it. The link is available also in the description of this live stream. Join the Discord. We're planning out a way to make the Discord even more exciting than what we're doing during the live streams. We know that Trump isn't going to be in office forever. We know that the Democrats are still angling for censorship, and someday, channels like ours will, be in the crosshairs. I told the people who were at the members only live stream that the live stream from last night had a copyright restriction that prevented it to be seen at all. And I was dealing with that. And that told me that, it's very easy for the channel to just go away without any warning, simply because someone thinks you did something they didn't like. And so we agreed that the Discord server would be a great idea to kick off. And, it's been in my back pocket, essentially, for since 2024, December of 2024. So I'm inviting everyone to join. It's free. Join the Discord server. We want to, just have a way to kind of stay in touch, to keep communicating. It's live chat. We can chat, we can communicate, we can share ideas, and we can hang out. Some of you want to take that conversation that you're having during the live stream onto a secure server. This isn't Facebook, this isn't X or anything. This is a pristine Discord server that allows us to communicate and, essentially hang out. Okay, so I would like for us to do that. I was hoping that Chrissy would be on the live stream today because I was meant to ask Chrissy to connect with gardening because there's something that both of them need to discuss. I don't know if Chrissy is listening in the background, but these are just part of the things that inspired, saying to ourselves, let's work on the Discord. So I hope that you would consider joining the Discord server, and we're going to be building it together. Like you can bring ideas of things that we could do with the Discord server, and we would work on it. Okay, so that's essentially the news. Now, we had a members only live stream. I gave an update, personal update, and we did have fun with watching some unique content that wouldn't normally happen here. Heimler with another $10. Heimler, thank you so much for the $10. The Epstein stuff is insane. I'm getting creeped out by people who want to see more evidence. What is the evidence they want to see? I feel like they want to see the gross stuff. That's the truth. Look, everyone knows what he was about, okay? And they claim that, okay, we want to see Trump in the Epstein files. So far, he's not in the Epstein files. So far. And I've said it for a long time. If Trump was in the Epstein files, the Democrats would have used the Epstein files against him while they were trying to put him in jail to keep him from running. I said it, and I don't know how to convince anyone that is, that is an idea that they should be playing with. So you're right. And I think that pressing for all of the Epstein content to be unredacted, especially the X-rated stuff, is creepy. You are right. So since the Epstein files have been released, I didn't even bother going to the link. I didn't bother. Yes, I talk about these things. Yes, I report on these things. And I would hear other creators say, I read the Epstein files, so you wouldn't have to. I said, well, thank you. Tell me what's in there. I'm not going looking. Okay. So I don't feel comfortable exploring that dark, putrid corridor. So you are right, Heimler, and thank you for the super chat. Yeah, so we want you guys to please connect. I'm saying this because I know how suddenly the censorship industrial complex can move. As soon as something shifts, if the midterms go a different way, we've seen what the Democrats have done with California. We've seen what they're willing to do and how mainstream media is complicit in covering up for the Democrat Party when they cheat. So the midterms could go either way. And we're back to social media platforms being coerced into censorship. They call it, preventing misinformation. We just watched this reel. That's who they are. So please join us in the Discord server. I would love to keep talking with you. Heimler, I need you to please be on the Discord, especially because we want to be able to share things. I'm going to be sharing a bunch of links with the people who attended the live stream this afternoon, and it's a members only live stream. We have a membership a membership fee to join the membership on the YouTube channels. If you would like to support us and help us keep the lights on, please be a member. Or do what Heimler just did and donate with a super chat. It helps us keep the lights on. I am currently a full-time YouTuber, so things like this are heartwarming. Heimler, thank you so much for the super chats. Everyone else who's watching, you're giving your eyeballs, you're giving your time. It's also supporting me, and the views, the watch time also generates, some form of remuneration. All right, so thank you so much. Intergalactic Wrangler, you had a busy day. I appreciate that you had a busy day. Thank you. Look, you guys are amazing, okay? I could glaze over or glaze you guys, praise you guys, say how great you guys are till the cows come home, and I truly mean it. All right, guys, we're 18 minutes past the hour. I'm planning an unscheduled members only live stream tomorrow. Okay, so Heimler says, I will always support level-headed people. Well, thank you, Heimler. Thank you so very much for your support. So I'm planning a live stream for tomorrow. It's going to be members only. So we're going to be doing a watch party. We're going to be watching one of the videos we couldn't watch today. and I'll post an update tomorrow morning. It should be around noon as usual, noon Eastern, but I'll let everyone know when. Well, I think I'm committing. Okay, let me commit. I'm going to be live streaming members only tomorrow at noon. But I'll be back again, same time tomorrow evening, 9 p.m. Eastern. So you don't have to be a member to watch the 9 p.m. Eastern content. But if you want to support as a member, go ahead and do that. We'll be back tomorrow to cover more stories. And I would love to see you guys come back and be in the chat again tomorrow. I love seeing the activity. I love the questions. I love all of the stuff that happened today. Thank you all so much for being so supportive. Thank you, Gardening. Thank you, Intergalactic Wrangler. Thank you, McHeimler. Thank you, Deuce. I hope you're still around because you suddenly kept quiet. I know that, it's evening and there's a lot of stuff happening, family and everything else going on. But look, I appreciate you guys. And for those of you who are lurking in the background, I appreciate you listening and keeping the signal going and watching the content. You support that way in your own silent way, and I appreciate it so much. Thank you for everything, and I'll catch you on the next one. Bye-bye.